Hello and welcome, I'm Chris Hall and this is Hall's Variety Pack Off the Record, the first Hall's Variety Pack Off the Record to be done in a visual capacity. And to celebrate that fact, we're going to be talking about Doctor Who. In particular, the new series has started! Yay! And it's the first time that Peter Capaldi is the new Doctor! Hooray! It's a regeneration story, which means it has no impact on the rest of the series. Yay! So basically, this whole entire video is my thoughts on it. For better or for worse, I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler-free as I possibly can. Though, if you don't want anything spoilt, then maybe this isn't the video for you. I'm trying to keep it as vague as I possibly can. Though, like I say, this is a regeneration story. And, well, nothing of importance ever happens with them. The closest thing to anything of significance ever happening in a regeneration story is the companion getting a little bit confused by the whole entire scenario. The story to this one is that a dinosaur has mysteriously appeared in the Thames, is causing a bit of a rumpus. As it's a story set in Victorian times, we have the lizard lady, the Sontaran and the annoying Cockney woman, and they just kind of exist as they always do in these stories. Though Stephen Moffat really wishes that they were more popular than they really are. I know that some people like them. I myself am incredibly indifferent towards them. As stories go, particularly regeneration stories go, this is a little bit on the naff side. It's not terrible by any means, a stretch of the imagination. It's not the worst regeneration story ever. That illustrious honour still goes to the Twin Dilemma, which was the first story to feature Colin Baker as the Doctor, famous of course for having the giant slug bad guy and for the Doctor trying to strangle his companion to death. So with this one, it's not terrible, but it's forgettable. Ooh! So I think the best way I can start this thing properly, genuinely properly, and refer to all my notes that I've written down on the screen next to me, is to address the dinosaur in the room. Though on my planner I put dino sausage. I honestly don't know what I was thinking about with that. So like I say, the dinosaur is nothing within this entire story. It is a red herring of all types and all descriptions. It's just there for the sake of looking good in the trailer. The dinosaur, why it's there, how it's there is of no importance. Though in the early stages of the episode they say that the Doctor somehow landed the TARDIS in the dinosaur, and then when the Doctor went to Victorian London, the dinosaur got dragged along as well, even though it's kind of been pre-established in previous series that nothing can survive the vortex of time. You know, Captain Jack jumped onto the TARDIS at one point at the start of one episode. He died, but of course, as he cannot die, he came back to life. If I recall correctly, during the second Doctor's adventures, there was an episode in which he met someone who looked very much like him, except evil, like an evil twin, and he fell out the TARDIS and landed in the vortex of space and time and died. Generally speaking, anything that falls into it dies. The T-Rex, for whatever reason, did not die. Of course, this is a minor niggle, but still, it just kind of dumbfound me. And to make matters worse, they don't explain exactly how we got from the Doctor just regenerating to being in prehistoric times in order to find the dinosaur and to take the dinosaur to Victorian times. They do kind of vaguely say, like I say, they mention about him somehow getting the TARDIS inside the dinosaur, though I have a worrying suspicion that this is something that may have been covered in one of the web clip teaser things I don't watch. I make a point of not watching them because I would rather see Doctor Who episodes in their fullness rather than having peripheral materials. I know it's a bit of a silly thing, but, you know, I prefer watching Doctor Who in the format at which it was devised. Let's have a look at my notes. So, the dinosaur, oh my god, the dinosaur, what can I say about the dinosaur? One of the problems about the dinosaur is as soon as I saw it, the first thing in my mind was not, my god, what a wonderful CGI creation this is, my god, isn't the license fee being well spent on this show? No, it was, my god, how long is it until we have a teary-eyed moment for the dinosaur? I didn't time it, and I haven't subsequently gone back to time it, though it isn't that long, about a quarter of the way through into the episode. The dinosaur is off. Oh no, it combusts. Off screen, we kind of see it in the distance catching fire. Then the Doctor runs over to it, dressed as wee Willy Winky in his pyjamas, and he stands on the side of the bridge, and someone waves a gel in front of the light to simulate fire. And it's one of those special effects that are too expensive to show, but then the Doctor gives some vague speech about how horrible it is that the dinosaur died, and how a wonderful, beautiful creature that poorly made bit of CGI was. And, well, they don't linger on it, which is good, because I remember in last series, I think it was last series, it's hard to tell now, they're starting to do the split series thing, in which it was the dinosaurs on a spaceship episode. I'm fairly certain that's the title as well, but it was the episode with the dinosaurs on the spaceship, that we had the Triceratops. When that was killed, the Doctor had a moment, and seeing it was Matt Smith, he pulled a face which made him look like an Easter Island statue. The Welsh choir in the background was going, ooh, and it was all grim and sad, and some people actually got sad about it. I just laughed like a jackal, because I find such melodrama utterly hilarious. And there's one thing that stuck out to me whilst watching this episode, in particular with the giant dinosaur hoppling around London, is that, I'll just take a pause here, is that when Stephen Moffat and Matt Smith took over on Doctor Who, one of the reasons how they managed to explain how you could have like the giant Cyberman marching around London and then no one remembering it or knowing of it in the modern age was because of the whole business with the cracks in space and time that we had. You know, when that great big storyline in the first series in which wherever the Doctor went there was like a rift in space and time, and anything went too near it was erased and forgotten about. Rory fell into it, though he didn't die, he just became an auton, or whatever you call them, the plasticky people. So that was how they explained it before, how you could have those big ridiculous moments in Doctor Who's history, the massive end of series scenarios. Here, seeing as that whole problem has been sorted now, I don't know how they're going to walk away from this one. Of course, they'll never mention it, they'll never reference the fact there was a giant dinosaur in the Thames, but still, good on you, Stephen, for remembering some of your own writing, my word. But of course, yeah, that is something that's sticking to my mind. He's forgotten about the cracks, ironically. And seeing as that problem's been sorted, when we return to the modern age, are people going to remember the dinosaur hobbling about? Of course, I could be wrong. I may have forgotten about it. There's a part of my mind that's flickering back that maybe it was teased that not all the crack problem has been sorted, but I can't really see them bringing that back. So, okay, maybe they just dropped a clanger with it. Maybe the whole dinosaur in the Thames is such a superfluous, pointless bit that we needn't worry about whether its implications for human history, because evidently the writers didn't care about it. Dearie me. I've never been married, so I have to ask this question to anyone who's watching this who is married or engaged or in a long-term relationship. I have to ask you this one question. The question is this: when you're in these long-term relationships, do you have to confirm that you're in a relationship to the person that you're in a relationship with to maintain your standing in that relationship? I mean, do you have to say that you're in a relationship with someone else every 10 minutes, otherwise the relationship ends or something? Because watching Doctor Who, that certainly seems to be the case. I mean, you may be able to tell what I'm referring to here, and of course it is the relationship between the lizard lady and the annoying Cockney one. It was pretty much established in the first 5 minutes they were introduced way back however many series ago, but Stephen Moffat feels the need to remind us that they're in a relationship every 5 minutes by them saying that they're in a relationship. Now they are married, and they have to say that they are married every scene, just in case we've forgotten that they're married, which, you know, could happen given just how very little chemistry the two of them seem to have on screen together. I mean, I personally love it when writers on TV shows talk to me, the audience member, as if I'm stupid. I particularly love the fact that they can't trust us to be able to accept a lesbian relationship on a science fiction show, because, you know, we all live in the dark ages and that kind of thing is crazy witchcraft to us. I mean, we're just getting our head around indoor plumbing, for crying out loud. Okay, enough sarcasm. I should really approach this in a more mature way, but I just think it's such a ridiculously artificial way of developing a relationship between two characters, to have to say that they're in a relationship for us to believe it. In order for us to believe that they're in a relationship, show us that they're in a relationship, which they do flirt with the idea of doing. They have moments together and they have a nice little bit of banter. It's funny, it's light, but then it's ruined by them saying, "Oh boy, I am your wife, he," or words to that effect. I mean, good God. Seriously, good on you for doing this kind of thing, but couldn't you at least tackle this in a more mature way, for Christ's sake? Oh my God, and it's between these two, incidentally, that we have probably the most ridiculous moment I've seen in Doctor Who for a very long time, and I tell you this, if there are 5 other moments in this series that are dumber than that, I quit. I'm never watching it again. I don't care who takes over, who's writing it, who's directing in the future. If these episodes get any dumber, that's it, I'm done. And the moment you can probably guess what it is if you've seen it. And it's the moment when they're there in the giant alien spaceship that's underneath a restaurant, because it is. And there they are, they're fighting the robot cyborg people. And they discovered earlier on that the robot cyborg people cannot tell the difference between a human and a robot if the human stops breathing, which incidentally leads us to a quite interesting, very creative moment where Clara's trying to escape the mechanical cyborg robot people, and she's holding her breath, and you get this very great, very well shot, very well edited sequence when she's walking through the spaceship, and this picture starts to get very what's the term? Illusionized or something. Distorted, yes. The image gets distorted, the brightness, all the bloom and stuff, whatever it's technical stuff, I don't know what it is. It's a great sequence. Of course, that sequence is let down because we suddenly find ourselves in an episode of Grange Hill for whatever reason. That sequence is brilliant, great, very tense, brilliant moment. And of course, we discover that the robots cannot tell a human from a robot if the human isn't breathing. So Clara says to one, "Everyone, hold your breath." And they all hold their breath. But then we get a shot of the Cockney annoying one, and it's a shot of her eyes, and her eyes look up to shoot out of her head, and she says, "I cannot do it." To which the lizard lady turns to her once again, a shot of her eyes, and says, "Don't worry, young one. I have ample air in my lungs." And then they kiss, which should be a beautiful, wonderful, dramatic moment, and we should clap and cheer and go, "Whoa, true love conquers all." But it's delivered in such a wooden, clunky, mechanical way. It's like watching a HGV reversing, for God's sake. I mean, any drama in that entire moment, not just their interaction between the two characters, but that entire scene is killed stone dead by their awful delivery of those awful lines. It's like staring off into infinity, for Christ's sake. And yes, once again, I'm not a fan of these two characters, but I've almost instantly gone off them. There's moments when they're interacting where they look like a real couple, they're acting like real people in a relationship would do, and then they ruin it by going, "Oh, this is my wife, I'm having issues with the wife, ha ha ha, because we're not actually like husband and wife, we're wife and wife, ho ho ho, oh how contemporary we are, ha 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 ha." Good grief. Our bad guy in this is a cyborg who kills people and steals their organs to repair himself and repair his ship. His whole motive in this is that he wants to repair his spaceship so he can return to the future and go to the promised land. And that's just about it from him. There's nothing of any discernible merit from him. He's emotionless, so there is nothing of value from the performance whatsoever. There's nothing threatening from the monster at all whatsoever. It just kind of exists. At the end of the episode, he's pretty much repaired his time machine and he's ready to go home, but the doctor won't let him because the robot's the bad guy and he's killed people, and that's very naughty. even though the Doctor's probably killed countless billions of people over the years, but still, grr, robot man, ugh. So the Doctor potentially throws him out of the hot air balloon made of human flesh, and then the robot gets speared on the top of Big Ben. Maybe it's implied that it could be ambiguous, because at the end of the episode, when we have Mary Poppins wandering around the garden, she says something along the lines, "Oh, were you pushed or did you fail?" or whatever. Of course, that's at the end of the episode. If you've not seen it, then you have no idea what that means, so you can't say it's spoilers. So, bad guy, boring, uninteresting. There's not even anything about the bad guy itself. It's not like, oh, they're an intergalactic war criminal, so it's important that they don't escape. Or, oh no, they might land somewhere and start killing more people because, well, that's not the case because the ship's already been repaired, so even the ship getting repaired doesn't seem to be at all a bad situation because, there doesn't seem to be any issue with it. Not even a case of, oh, if he starts the spaceship, then London will get destroyed or something. No, he just makes a balloon made of human flesh and floats off, and then he may have fallen out the ship or got pushed by the Doctor, we don't know, and chances are he just fell because the Doctor doesn't kill things, at least not directly. This is, like I said, towards the start of the episode, a regeneration episode, so it has no real great impact on the rest of the series, apart from maybe the companion being a little bit confused. And of course it means that the Doctor, for the majority of this episode, is spending his time bumbling and mumbling and tootling about, not really doing much doctory, which, is just how it is. There are flashes, though, of what Capaldi's Doctor may be, and from what I've seen of him being the Doctor, it's fantastic, it's great. His performance adds a level of gravitas which has been sorely missed from Doctor Who for quite a long time, at least from Christopher Eccleston's time. And the pace and the style in which the Doctor goes about things in this form, it's a lot more deductive, almost like a detective, almost like Sherlock Holmes in a way. And he seems to be a lot more of a cool and measured character, which to me suggests that maybe now is the time when we stop having episodes where the majority of the sequences within it are the Doctor running to or from something, that the pace of the episodes may slow down, and they may actually get time to understand what things are and why is this and what's this working and why that's a bad thing. Of course, this also means that the dumb, stupid moments come into more compelling focus, but still, that is something that can be worked out in time. There are quite a few dumb, stupid moments, and there has been over the years, and hopefully they won't be for too long. Well, the things that I did really, really like about this, and I haven't seen that many people give too much kudos towards, is Clara's performance in this. I forget that Jenny Coleman, isn't her name? Jenny Coleman or something like that. As soon as I say Coleman, I think Coleman Francis, but no, we're not mentioning him. But anyway, her performance in this I think is great, and a lot of people have overlooked it. Now, normally what happens in Doctor Who regeneration stories, the Doctor regenerates, he has his wacky trying on a new costume moment, and the companion gets a little bit crazy and perturbed by the whole situation. They can't quite get their head around it. They have maybe a moment, maybe a crappy little speech about how the Doctor has changed, and then an episode they're totally cool with it, and whilst at the episode Clara seems a little bit more accepting of the Doctor's new look, there is an edge of apprehension that you can kind of get from it, which I really like, and I'm kind of looking forward to exactly where this new series is going to go, but then with their relationship between the two of them, because that's not really been something that's ever been really, to my memory, been explored. I mean, we've had plenty enough episodes where the Doctor's regenerated, the companion has gone, oh, he's a little bit different, I don't know who he is, oh, and then by the end of it, oh, he's still my Doctor, I love the Doctor, he's a nice man, and then we kind of continue on like that until the end of the series, and then, maybe the companion leaves at that point, or whatever. But in this, I thought that Clara was great. Honestly, probably the best that I've seen of her in any of the episodes. It's probably the best she's ever been. I'll be honest, I put my hands up. I've never been a fan of Clara. I thought of her being incredibly annoying. But of course, it could be the fact that I hate the fact that now in modern Doctor Who, the companion seems to have more importance than the Doctor. But, for the first time, I've really liked her. And it's proof that whilst I don't like the Sontaran, the annoying Cockney woman and the lizard lady, that you can change my mind with a good performance that is well written and well measured. And her performance of this is fantastic, and kudos. A lot of people are giving credit and gratuities towards Peter Capaldi. No, Jenny Coleman in this is by far and away better performing this for me. Of course, it may be the fact that it's, once again, regeneration episode. The Doctor doesn't really do much doctory stuff, but, you know, Jenny did it for me. Why does that sound incredibly dirty? So, the overview, and just looking at my notes if there's anything else I've not mentioned. Not to my knowledge. The overview. So, what do I think of the episode as a whole? Well, the episode does have its low points. I've mentioned them in great detail. I don't need to go over them again. And, well, the less said about a certain cameo in it, the better. I just found that to be so counterproductive, it is unbelievable. And once again, well, not once again, I've not said it at all. I may talk about that towards the end of the series once that big cameo thing has been aired and everyone knows about it. And whilst these few moments are these low points are relatively few in the grand scheme of things, when they do occur, it is like having the rug pulled from under you. The air kiss moment, my God, is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in Doctor Who. Probably one of the stupidest things I've ever seen on television. But the whole story itself is fun whilst it lasts. It's not particularly memorable, and you know what? It isn't the worst regeneration story. Worst regeneration story still is the twin dilemma. That is probably the point in which the original Doctor Who run started to go downhill spectacularly. As we all know, it led to the first cancellation of Doctor Who, which then resulted in them recording that stupid charity album, Doctor in Distress. And then they brought it back with Sylvester McCoy, then they cancelled it again. Now it's back, and yay, good, I'm happy about that. And you know what, I'm oddly optimistic for the new series of Doctor Who. Looking forward to see where it goes. I hope it's an actual series, and it's not one of those split series things where halfway through they just end it and we have to wait till next March or something to see the other side of it. But you know what, I'm looking forward to it. The next episode is a Dalek episode. May be good. Probably won't be as good as the Dalek episode from series 1 of the new series of Doctor Who, but you know, it could be great. Maybe. We'll soon see. Well, that's just pretty much everything I thought about the first episode of Doctor Who. You may disagree with me, you may agree with me, whatever, then comply, comment and whatever in whichever area I've submitted this in, and whoa!